Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, the members on Capitol Hill, especially the House of Representatives, have been laser focused in an election year on violating Americans' right to free speech. Obviously, there's so many different issues going on in this world that House of Representatives is acutely focused on trying to violate the free speech of millions of Americans as their top priority. Basically, this is essentially the Patriot Act 2.0, which the Patriot Act, the piece of legislation passed directly after 9/11, was also a violation of Americans' privacy and an affront to the Constitution. But this language in this legislation is so vague that it can go for any media organization or social media application that goes against the will of the members on Capitol Hill. So I want to move over to the Constitution because the First Amendment clearly states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So that's a lot, but that's basically saying you have freedom of religion. You can practice whatever religion you want or not, whatever you want. We won't abridge freedom of speech. We won't abridge freedom of press, or we won't abridge the right of people to assemble or petition the government for a redress of grievances. But the one that I really want to focus on is freedom of speech, because this is pretty important. So Congress shall make no law that abridges freedom of speech. Whether you agree with, TikTok or not, millions of Americans use their constitutionally protected freedom of speech to express themselves on TikTok. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. What's also a fact is that Congress shall make no law that abridges freedom of speech for millions of Americans. And that's the goal of members of Congress. They are laser focused on trying to censor or try and weed out speech that they don't like or that goes against their carefully coordinated narrative. So, for example, many people age 25 and 30 and younger are using TikTok as a way of acquiring news that's outside the sphere of mainstream media. So, mainstream media has been trying to carefully coordinate narratives around different events going on in the world, whether that's the war between Ukraine and Russia, whether that's the war between Israel and Hamas, and then Hezbollah getting involved, and then maybe like the Houthis getting involved, or whatever other events pop up. Basically, Congress is trying to censor and abridge freedom of speech because people on TikTok are getting their news and their information from non sources that are carefully choreographed. So, TikTok is a way that information reaches the masses, reaches millions of people that don't go through government regulated narratives. And that's what they're trying to weed out. They are trying to make a law that is abridging freedom of speech. And the Constitution, the First Amendment, is abundantly clear that the Congress shall make no law abridging freedom of speech. So, Constitution is pretty clear, but when has Congress ever cared about what the Constitution has to say? Banning TikTok is a violation of free speech. It is an affront to millions of Americans' ability to express themselves and speak their mind on the internet. So, pretty clear, banning TikTok is a violation of free speech. And Congress can pass it, but I don't think it'll pass the courts. I don't think the courts will agree with flagrant social media censorship. The only way that the courts would even look the other way is if they're paid off, which is a possibility, but I don't know. I think this gets struck down, even if it does get signed, because you are censoring and you are abridging millions of Americans' freedom of speech and the possibility of expressing themselves. So it's a violation of free speech. But that's what I think. I think it's pretty clear. But I think there are forces at play that are trying to quell TikTok as a way of trying to portray their narratives in the best light as possible. Because millions of people are getting their news on TikTok, and that's the uncensored news. So banning TikTok is a violation of free speech. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.